There's nothing quite like Derby Day in the Ninja A-League, and today is no different with the Newcastle Jets hosting the Central Coast Mariners in a vital F3 derby for both sides. The home team are looking to turn around a 3-game losing streak today, while the visiting Mariners have only tasted victory once in 6 away fixtures. Will number 2 Sports Ground prove to be a Jets fortress, or will the Mariners sail away with the points? We'll find out over the next 90 minutes of action. As always, an action-packed round in front of you in the Ninja A-League. Sydney FC and Adelaide United got us started with a scoreless draw, but Perth Glory maintaining their fantastic home form against the Western Sydney Wanderers in the late show last night. Earlier today, Melbourne City just a little bit too good for the Wellington Phoenix, and then tomorrow you can look forward to Melbourne Victory hosting the Brisbane Roar. And of course, we have an F3 derby on our hands this evening, and that is the trophy that these two sides play for across the course of the home and away season. A piece of guardrail from the freeway that separates these two sides. The motorway, if you want to be fancy about it, but it lives on, the F3 derby in our hearts. So this is how the Newcastle Jets line up today. Coach Stephen Hoyle has swung the axe after 3 consecutive defeats, making 6 total changes to the side that lost to the Glory last week. Among the casualties are captain Cass Davis, Lauren Allen, Josie Allen and Melina Reyes, who all start on the bench. Alexis Collins makes her first start of the season. She leads the line in front of today's captain, Libby Copus-Brown. It's a big responsibility on the shoulders of Libby Copus-Brown, wearing the captain's armband in place of the almost ever-present Cass Davis. The experienced 28-year-old has made over 100 appearances in the Ninja A-League, most of those coming for Newcastle, and she'll use that experience to lead her charges today. Well, in contrast, it is a stable team for the Mariners with only 1 change. Tess Quilligan comes into midfield for the suspended Izzy Gomez. Baxter Thu retains her place in defence as Liz Barwick-Gray remains unavailable. On the bench, Tiana Fuller gets the nod to take the place left vacant by Quilligan's promotion, ahead of one of the goal scorers last time these sides met, Eliza Familton. There's added responsibility too on the shoulders of 19-year-old Ivani Prakash today in the absence of Isabel Gomez. She was very impressive last week against Adelaide and may well be the creative hub that the Mariners rely on today. Well, Stephen Hoyle getting ready for today. He's made a huge statement, has Stephen Hoyle, benching his captain and senior players in Lauren Allen and Melina Reyes for an F3 derby. If his gamble pays off, keeping in mind the grueling schedule ahead of 4 games in 11 days, it could be a defining moment in his fledgling coaching career. There is the central official today, Beck Mackey. She is assisted by Amber Morris, and Daphne Gunaris. The 4th official today is Michaela Ryan. Well, stability by contrast is the name of the game for the Central Coast Mariners and their coach Corey Babington. After recovering from a tough schedule of their own, they come into this derby chasing what would be a vital win for their top 6 hopes. No doubt the coaching staff hard at work after that defeat to Adelaide last week. So the teams in their huddles. It is a warm one today in Newcastle. There will be 2 cooling breaks per half. Annalise Rasmussen, if she scores today, she will go top of the Golden Boot race, all up on her own, currently on 7 goals for the season, tied with Holly McNamara of Melbourne City. What an impressive future she has ahead of her, Rasmussen. Those 7 goals are coming only in the last 6 games as well. It took her a few games to get going this season. They, of course, scored a brace against the Jets last time these sides met. An elite in goals for the Jets. The Kiwi keeper has pretty negative memories of Gosford, conceded 4 against the Mariners after conceding 5 for New Zealand against the Matildas at that venue. Maybe something a little personal to get one over the Mariners today. Well, of course, Annalie Grove came on as a sub during the previous F3 derby. Has been Mariners' first choice keeper since. So underway in the F3 derby, it is the home side, the Newcastle Jets, who get things rolling. They are coming into this game off the back of 3 defeats. They would love nothing more than to change that this afternoon against their biggest rivals. Lucky enough to be joined on commentary by former Matilda Ish Ferguson. Ish, we're expecting a good battle out there today.
Absolutely. We've got the stability of Central Coast against the shake-up of Newcastle Jets, and I'm really interested to see how these changes apply themselves in this match. Stephen Hoyle, big statement from him after a couple of losses, and so let's see what they've got.
A word from the club was just rotation, as it is the Jets on the early charge. The ball looping towards the back post, going over the top of Charlotte Lancaster, making that run. Sophie Hoban, you'll imagine, will be the creative hub of the Jets today. Yeah, nice positive start from Sophie Hoban. Looking probably to get that ball into the far post from that position. Also quite challenging with the sun in her eyes. You can see that big shadow on the pitch. Makes it difficult, actually, when you're on that right-hand side. Trying to read and see the ball when it comes from the shadows can be really challenging. Here's Prakash for the Mariners. Her pass finds Annabelle Martin, ever present on this right-hand side for the Mariners. Her ball intercepted. The Jets trying to make something work. Instead, it's Rasmussen who comes away with the ball. Rasmussen feeds Peter Trimmis, the joint leading appearance holders for the Mariners. Trimmis goes one way, then the other. Still Peter Trimmis into the mixer. Defended away. And it will mean that Kelly Brown, dropping very, very deep for the Jets, is able to claim. Yeah, see both of these teams, even in the tough conditions, very warm out there. There is a fair bit of a breeze, which could cool it down when you actually are in the shade. However, the intensity has been good, which we should see from a derby. And both these teams would have been really frustrated and disappointed with their result last week. So both teams up for it, and really good to see this intensity of attacking football. Ish, how would you normally expect these sorts of conditions to impact on the game as it goes on? Yeah, I think we'll see it as the game goes on. I think the biggest thing is with having 2 drinks breaks in each half is about momentum. Well, that's great work from Alexis Collins to win the ball back there onto Sophie Hoban. Mariners, though, able to get back and defend, and it'll fall to the feet of their captain, Taryn King. And play it back to Annalie Grove. Sarah Langman, unfortunately, rupturing her ACL earlier in the season, which has meant that Annalie Groves had to step up. Plenty of A-League women's experience, though. Handy backup keeper to have. And the Jets win the foul. That was really well done by Emma Dundas. Just battled away, pushed Avani Prakash off the ball to win that. Nice, strong play. Took a little touch past Prakash. Had a little tug of the shorts to try and stop her momentum going forward. But I'm interested to see how both of these teams will either employ a press or whether they'll try and conserve a little bit of energy in these hot and humid conditions. Well, here's an interesting stat about Emma Dundas. 4 games ago against the Raw, her passing accuracy was only 45%. So was being entrusted with long balls, low percentage balls. In the previous 3 games, that's gone up to 78.3, 77.8, and 83. So her role has really changed in the side. And that's crucial for that central role of Emma Dundas and just trying to be that link player. I think also there has been games where Libby Copus-Brown has played a little bit further forward, almost like right in the attacking line through the middle. And we do see Libby in more of a number 10 role, more creative. But with Emma Dundas being able to be in that central role, it just allows more freedom for the more attacking players of Newcastle Jets. So the Jets tasked with playing the ball out from the back. Rasmussen and Prakash pressing. Prakash causing all sorts of problems. The youngster trying to win the ball back, and the Mariners do so in midfield, but Trimmis couldn't find a teammate with her pass. Quilligan. Now that pass was aimed at Prakash, but a little bit too much on it, so Tash Pryor will happily Play back to the keeper, but again, look at this Mariners press. They're closing in on the Jets defenders as they try to play it out. Trimis into Krasula. Krasula back to Trimis. Peter Trimis' delivery towards the back post. The header one just about scrambled away, only as far as the edge of the area. Prakash again. Play it all the way back. Mariners press causing Newcastle issues early in this game.
That was a really strong passage of play from the Central Coast Mariners. I had the question mark about whether there would be a high press. They really did close down, put the pressure on the Newcastle Jets. And again, Varnik Prakash, and that more advanced midfielder central role is really that connective tissue, while Tess Quilligan can kind of sit a little bit deeper. But some really positive play from the Mariners.
And Baxter Thu playing it back to Annalie Grove. Thu, 27 years of age, originally from Bunbury in WA. It's her first chance at this level this season. Trimis in space. She's got Rasmussen on her inside. Peter Trimis, will she go herself? Annalie can save. It's the Mariners who've had the better of these opening exchanges.
And they've mixed it up a little bit, haven't they? With Newcastle playing three at the back, there is going to be space in these wide channels down here. We know Peter Trimis has the pace. She got in behind Bates, took her first touch towards goal. The angle was a little bit tight, maybe could have cut it back across, but when you're in that position, you don't take it away from Peter Trimis. She's definitely going to have that strike at goal. And again, some great positive play from Central Coast Mariners. They're having a combination of build-up play, controlled possession, and then those long balls looking for those channels in behind the Jets' back three.
We saw Peter Trimis, goal of the season contender against Melbourne Victory before the new year. So she does know how to find the back of the net. Only her second goal this season, but she's being creative. She's growing with every game that she plays, still only 19 years of age.
Yeah, quality player. Always really positive, plenty of pace, and great to see her on the score sheet as well.
Prakash, always busy. In a battle against two Jets players. Eventually it's Hoban who wins the ball, and Brown, again playing deep today, comes back and picks it up. Hoban. Inside. Now Pryor through Copus Brown, playing out from the back. Krajula, the furthest forward player for the Mariners. But the Jets have come away with it through Dundas. Now Hoban, a wide overlapping run. Brown, the cross, too close to the keeper. That's good from the Jets.
Well, they broke out of the Mariners' press in fine form. Stephen Hall was encouraging them to get forward, do it quickly. That transition in the middle of the pitch. Right idea. Alexis Collins was making the run into the near post, but unfortunately that cross in was just a bit too close to the keeper.
It's good from Rasmussen to play it back to Prakash. Now Trimis. Peter Trimis loves to run at defenders. Peter Trimis, ball in behind, back post run. Coco DeCipio couldn't quite get there. May have hurt herself in the process.
Well, that is absolute quality from Peter Trimis. Look at this little shift just out of her feet. Just knew that she wanted to get outside of Bates and then just curl that ball across between the 6-yard box and the 18-yard box. Coco DeCipio still on the ground. It'll be a real shame if she isn't able to continue, because she's been a really impressive signing for the Mariners this season.
Yeah, Izzy Coco DeCipio, 23 years of age, her first shot at the Ninja A-League. She's scored 2 goals in 10 games, but again is one of these players that seems to have improved with every outing. Was signed from the Bulls FC Academy. Just looks like she caught her leg on that landing.
Just looked quite awkward, didn't it? Like kind of tangled up. Looks like she's getting up on her feet. I just have to give credit to Peter Trimis again, though. Like, that is really accomplished play and awareness and understanding about who you've got in the middle. You've got Rasmussen, you've got Coco DeCipio. Doesn't need to take anyone on. There's space in behind that defence. Questions for Annalie. Does she have to come? Does she stay? That was a quality ball in from Peter Trimis.
Coco DeCipio back on her feet, which is a great sign. So hopefully she's okay to continue. Options on the bench. They might turn to Tiana Fuller, Tamar Levin with the left boot.
Inside Peter. Until Coco's back.
Just listening in to Mariners coach Corey Babington telling us exactly what they're planning to do until Coco's back. So that's
right.
a good sign.
Until Coco was back, I had my ears were pricked up because he was saying for Avani to go to the left and someone else to come into the middle. But it was Avani going to the left. I thought, oh, is this a tactical change? But no, Coco DeCipio hopefully back on her feet. She's back on the pitch. We can see her there, number 20. So great to see her back on her feet, because she's number 26, because she's been a really great signing for the Mariners this season and a wonderful addition to the A-League.
Mariners winning the ball in midfield once again. Krajula. Both Krajula and Quilligan have been very industrious in midfield, usually alongside Izzy Gomez this season. Of course, she is suspended for this game, an accumulation of 5 yellow cards, the first player to reach that milestone, I suppose you could say, in the competition this season. I'm sure there will be more.
Yeah, she's a big loss, Izzy Gomez, but Tess Quilligan is an accomplished player. We know what she's more of a holding player, and that will allow Avani Prakash that freedom to play further up the pitch.
Rasmussen in the penalty area. Martin will deliver, but not a good delivery, straight out for a goal kick.
No, she'll be disappointed with that. Just wasn't able to wrap her foot around the ball. Kind of slid off the side of her boot.
Ball up the line for the Jets. Good first touch from Lancaster. Charlotte Lancaster, the ball across the face! And Grove, well, she got a touch. Still alive here for the Jets. It's somehow saved away, and that attempt from Dundas goes wide. Well, how on earth has Annalie Grove prevented this?
Great vision from Lancaster as well, just seeing what a battle in the middle of the pitch between Taryn King and Alexis Collins. Taryn King is such an experienced defender, just held on, had that contact with Collins and wasn't able to get a clean contact on it. That was really experienced defending from Taryn King.
Alexis Collins, only 17 years of age. She debuted round 1 last season, so this is her second season in the competition, but only her 4th appearance this season. So still young, still learning, and coming up against the experience of the likes of Taryn King. It's all a part of learning her trade.
That's exactly right. Taryn King's going to employ that physical presence as well, and she just timed it and read it so well.
Dundas, Hoban, in behind for Kelly Brown. Kelly Brown takes a touch and takes it wide. The Kiwi international there really should have hit the back of the net.
And that'll be the type of chances that'll just really have Stephen Hoyle with his head in his hands. Wonderful bit of play on that right-hand side. Kelly Brown touch onto her left foot, then was trying to tuck it into that near post. Well, that is a huge missed opportunity for the Jets.
Well, Brown missed the last F3 derby due to concussion that she actually picked up on international duty. Had a clash with Steph Catley in that game against Australia. So her first taste of F3 derby action for Newcastle. She would have loved to bury that one.
Especially with the form that Newcastle have been in. You know, when you get yourself into those positions, they're the moments that start making the difference between potentially getting 3 points and maybe getting 0 points. And that was wonderful play, lovely switch of play, but a huge opportunity that was missed.
Well, an exciting first 14 minutes of action each. Both sides have had opportunities. 2 shots apiece. Doesn't quite tell the full story. The Mariners pressing high early in the half to win a few turnovers, and then the Jets there, 2 in quick succession. Neither side able to find the back of the net just yet.
It feels like a derby, doesn't it, that intensity?
Good interception in midfield. Dundas, it comes back to the youngster. Mariners have to be good here. And it is cleared away under pressure. Emma Dundas involved in everything for Newcastle. Miranda Baumann, former Jet, of course. 47 appearances for Newcastle. Has done a good job there. Trimis, Rasmussen headed on well. Coco DeCipio finds the run of Trimis. Into midfield, Quilligan. Krajula slipped over and loses out. So it's Libby Copus-Brown with Collins in front of her. Alexis Collins assesses her options, looks for the overlapping run of Brown. Kelly Brown saved by Grove. Strong hands there and a heavy touch from Hoban. Takes it away. Dundas goes one way, then the other. Copus-Brown trying to get past Prakash, does so well. Her ball, though, won't be reeled in by Brown. So another period of Jets pressure comes to an end without a goal. So 15 minutes into the half, we'll see our first cooling break of the game. There'll be 2 of these per half, about every 15 minutes or so, when the referee deems it appropriate. That was a very, very exciting 15 minutes of action. It was a really strong 15 minutes of action. Big question is now, how do both teams come out after this break? We see it so many times, whether it's going into halftime, whether it's coming out of halftime. When you've got a little pause in play, whether it's for an injury that takes a bit more time, sometimes a team can slightly switch off while the other really steps it up again. But it's been very evenly matched so far. And they certainly have been. Well, Ish, we've spotted some famous faces in the crowd. Can you tell us a little bit more about who's on our screen? Well, Cheryl Salisbury, living legend and former Matildas captain. I played under Cheryl Salisbury for the Matildas. On that right-hand side, looks at the camera. Renee Israf on the left-hand side. So the Newcastle chapter of the Matildas alumni, there's Joe Powell there with the blonde hair as we go along. I think Jill Foster and Tracy McGovern are a bit further along the row. Yeah, there's Jill Foster in their Matildas cap and Trey McGovern in the LA cap there. It's so amazing to have the former Matildas so invested in the A-League, a competition that we've all had experience in, that we've seen grow and develop over the years. We were some of the players that actually started off when it was the W League back in the first season in 2008, 2009. And it's great to see so many former Matildas here supporting the Jets. They're all staunch Jets supporters. Although, sorry, I saw Jill in a Central Coast Mariners jersey there. I've stitched you up, Jill. Sorry about that. But, you know, great supporters of the current Matildas and still supporting the domestic game as well. And wonderful to have the insights of legends like Alicia Ferguson in the commentary box as well. Well, yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to still be commentating and talking about a competition that's really close to my heart. Brisbane Roar, we won it in the first season. I ruptured my ACL in the semi-final, so didn't get to play the final, but was happily retired after with a W League trophy in my hand. So it's great to still be around talking about it, Taryn. We'll play back underway in Newcastle, and it's the Mariners streaming forward. What a ball from Rasmussen to find Ivani Prakash, who shoots straight at Annalie. An incisive pass and a great passage of play from the Mariners. That is world class from Annalise Rasmussen, just playing it into Ivani Prakash. In behind Tash Pryor. Prakash just taking that touch across her, just ball slightly ran away from her, wasn't able to get enough purchase on it, get enough weight behind the shot, but some really clever play from Rasmussen. And it's great to see from Rasmussen because she has been a goal-scoring threat. She's developing her goal-scoring ability. That's never been in doubt. Her strength and her ability to play back to goal has never really been in doubt, but her ability to find those kinds of passes, that's the next step. That's something we see the likes of Michelle Heyman do quite a lot. That's right. Rasmussen, you see her do, she has dropped into deeper positions when she hasn't been getting the ball a bit further up the pitch. And I really like that about the attacking players. When they go finding the ball, if they haven't had enough of it, they're like, right, I'm going to make something happen. And she can drop in and then turn and face forward and always looks dangerous. Quilligan trying to find a teammate, both sides. Very high passing accuracy percentage so far in this game. The Mariners 85%, the Jets 80%. It's a good quality game of football that we're seeing unfold in front of our eyes at the moment as well. As always, the side who finds the first breakthrough, that will be very, very important. But that is one of those football cliches, of course, it goes without saying. Emma Bates there. Just playing it back to Annalise, who goes long, looking for Collins. This is Collins in some space here. Got Lancaster on her inside and misplays pass to Hoban. Bates. Dundas. The ball not finding the intended target, and the Mariners will win the throw.
It was great vision by Annalise just to see that there was a pocket of space, a bit of a diagonal ball long into the space behind the Central Coast defence for Alexis Collins to run onto. Just needs that little bit more quality. She had a bit more time to actually make sure that that pass got to one of her teammates.
Good interception at the back from Chico. And it's the Mariners in possession once more. Prakash is free and calling for it in the midfield, but it was read well by Hoban, who intercepted.
It was tough, I think, for Bowman. You can see she actually put her hand up above onto her forehead so she could shield the sun while she was trying to hit that ball. As I say, especially when it's a low sun as it's dipping into the sky, difficult when it's straight in your eyes.
Lovely little wall pass. Kelly Brown is away, the ball across. Again, too close to Grove. It's easy work for her.
Yeah, we're just talking about that little bit more quality from Karapides. We really want that delivery of that ball in between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. That's the ideal spot for one of those crosses, curling, similar to what Peter Trimmis did in the first 15-minute of the game. That makes it far more dangerous. And I think if Newcastle can just improve some of those little technical things, Kelly Brown as well got herself into a great position, and they're going to set themselves up to actually create more goal-scoring opportunities.
Lancaster chasing this one down up against Annabelle Martin. Lancaster's delivery towards the back post. Brown was there. Her attempted shot cross blocked by Bauman. Out for the first corner of the game.
Lancaster just trying to stand Martin up. Good ball to the back post. Picked out Kelly Brown. At least she got something on it. Let's see how they set up here, where the delivery will be from Lancaster.
Well, this will be tough for everybody because you can see where the sun is. The ball will be in sun, going through shade and coming back to sun. So Annalise Grove, this will test her. In swinging delivery, hasn't quite fallen for a Newcastle player. So the Mariners able to get it away. Yeah, despite the good work from Libby Copus-Brown.
Yeah, it doesn't tend to be as hard if it's coming from the sun into the shade. It's when it comes from the shade into the sun, because usually you're facing into the sun, which makes it a little bit more difficult with that glare. But much easier now that the shade is covering the majority of the pitch.
Dundas, quick throw up the line. And is able to intercept, although the pass just going straight back to the Jets. Brown bringing it out wide. Karapides from Gosford is Zoe Karapides, so a special game for her. Here's the delivery. No one quite making that run towards the back post. It'll come all the way through to Emma Bates. Trimmis there to block the cross, but out for another corner from the other side.
Now this is where it's going to be tricky, Taryn. Sun in the eyes of everyone. You can see from the shade, looking at the players. Annalise Grove as well. Makes it very challenging as that ball, the trajectory goes a little bit higher up. I would be aiming directly on top of Grove's head. Yeah, they're crowding around the keeper, getting lots of bodies around there, making it very difficult. You can see Taryn King's got her arm up. Everyone's got their arms up. Very challenging to be looking straight into the sun.
To be an in-swinging delivery as well, straight into the mixer. The referee's seen an infringement though. The Mariners will get away with it. That could not have been comfortable for Annalise Grove and the Mariners.
Let's just see what's happening in here. There's plenty of bodies. I'm not. The referee may have seen something slightly different. Someone trying to block the goalkeeper. There was a lot going on in there, so I would probably miss that even on the replay. It was hard to see where the actual infringement could have been.
And the Jets again, Brown. Kelly Brown, dangerous. Dropped comfortably for Grove. Imagine the whole complexion of this game will change in about 10 minutes or so when the sun is completely gone from the pitch and that's taken out of the equation, or perhaps longer. But certainly for Annalie Grove, she'll be sweating on the sun just hiding away to make that a little bit less challenging.
You could hear Corey Babington just before saying, Peter, keep looking in behind. We had those couple of early balls. There were long balls from the back, trying to find that channel of space in behind Bates. That left of 3 centre backs for the Jets.
Go, pressure on! Go, Avani, all the way, go!
Avani, the cash, being encouraged by her coach to continue the pressure, and that's exactly why.
She's been busy, hasn't she? It was similar last week against Adelaide. She was tucked in behind. She was getting to a far post. She was getting herself forward.
Annabelle Martin, this little passing movement, got the offside flag raised against Peter Trimmis. Of course, you can't be offside from a throw, which is what they originally tried to take advantage of there, the Mariners, but you can be offside when it's passed straight to you, and that's what eventually happened.
That's right, pass straight back. A little bit of relief of pressure for the Jets.
Here come the Mariners again, Coco DeCipio. It was a nice first touch, but now Pryor playing herself out of trouble. I believe it was Tash Pryor at that previous corner that may have committed the offence on Greta Kajula, because Kajula did go flying.
You're calling her, yeah. I was trying to look at all the players at once, so I probably missed it. So I trust the referee's decision on that one. There was a lot going on, and always, when you've got lots of bodies around the goalkeeper, that's always the risk.
Absolutely.
You're trying to kind of impede their progression to try and come out to the ball, but you've got to be really careful. Any contact with the keeper is a big no-no, as we know. Beck Mackey, hugely experienced referee in the middle of the pitch, so got to trust her call.
Yeah, we get the benefits of replays.
Yeah, that's
something that is always important to remember. Of course, no VAR in the Ninja A-League.
I think maybe a few people might be quite happy about that, Tara. There's a lot of controversy around VAR these days, isn't there? Lots of chat about it. Now we just rely on human decisions, which actually I quite like. I think you kind of play the game on its merits. You understand that the players make mistakes as well as the officials. We're all human.
They are usually correct at a staggeringly high amount.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Here's Peter Trimmis with the free kick for the Mariners. The delivery is high into the Jets' penalty area, and it's cleared away. Kajula looking to keep it alive. Trimmis. Trimmis's delivery blocked away. Mariners players still trying to fight for it in the penalty area. Rasmussen against Pryor. Pryor does really well to keep it in and concedes the throw rather than the corner. Jula can't keep it in this time, so Jets will win the throw. Taryn King in no rush to clear the second ball at her feet. Just a little bit of a delay as both sides can get themselves in position. That's experience.
That's it. That's absolute experience. That's game management as well. Yeah, the composure and decision making is so crucial, and that does come with time on the pitch.
Ball up the line. Not quite intercepted, so it's the Jets on the attack here. Hoban goes to grounds. The foul goes the way of the Mariners. Baxter Thu, the player fouled.
Yeah, she did really well. Just got her body in front of Hoban just to entice the contact from behind. Very clever play.
Mariners playing it out from the back. Again, under heavy pressure from the Jets. An intriguing little battle. Rasmussen wins out, does really well against Chico. Now centering ball, Trimmers inside out, deflection. Quilligan won't be able to chase it down, but Peter Trimmers has been exceptional in this game so far. Mariners throw taken quickly. Martin. Annabelle Martin trying to thread the needle in behind. Can't quite do so. Now it's the Jets' turn. It's end-to-end stuff in this fixture so far. Hoban into Lancaster. Lancaster up to Collins. Alexis Collins into the gloves of Annalie Grove. Not scored in the competition yet, Collins. She would love to make it her first goal today in a derby, no less. Dundas. Switch of play out to Kelly Brown. And behind, and has that stayed in? It has! Dragged wide by Hoban. Well, you thought for all money that Karapetes was not going to be able to wrangle this in. She did, according to the assistant referee. The touch came straight out to Sophie Hoban, who couldn't apply the finish.
That's another huge missed opportunity from the Jets. They'll be absolutely kicking themselves that they could be 2-0 up in the F3 derby. Wonderful work by Karapetes to keep that ball in, stand it up, so it was hard for Grove. She had to come, got fingertips to it. But Sophie Hoban there, those type of chances that you have nightmares about.
It just looked for all money that that ball was trickling out of play. Unbelievable work from Karapetes. Will the Jets have another opportunity in the next few minutes? There was 2 scheduled cooling breaks in the half, and here is the second now. So still scoreless between the Newcastle Jets and the Central Coast Mariners. Both sides have had opportunities. You'd have to say that the Jets have had the better of the opportunities, and they'll be very disappointed to not find themselves a goal or 2 up, especially given the 6 changes in their starting 11 heading into this game.
Well, we were questioning reasons why. Jets have a very heavy schedule coming up, but they've worked well for Stephen Hoyle in the first half an hour of this game. But Peter Trimmers, she just continually impresses me. I love her. She's so positive, loves taking players on. I love this in players because it's difficult to dribble at players with the ball at your feet. She's got good pace here, good touch towards goal. Maybe that second touch, maybe just a little bit further out, cut off her angle a little bit, but always like this ball, absolute quality for me. Coco DeCipio couldn't quite get onto it, just shifted it outside. Bates curled it into that really dangerous corridor between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. And wonderful play from Peter Trimmers.
Can you give us a little bit more insight into the technique of a ball like that? Because so often you see those balls go straight to the goalkeeper. How do you curl it like that if you're a young player watching?
Well, it's just once you shift it out of your feet, at the point of contact, you need to curl your toes back in towards the middle of your body. So if you're trying to strike it with the top of your laces, then that's probably going to go straight into the goalkeeper. But if you think of it as a really firm pass where you're trying to whip it around behind the defence, that's where you get that technique and that lovely curl on it, which is so difficult for defenders and fantastic as an attacker, because you know that you can run onto it. If you get a clean contact, it should be in the back of the net every time.
So as the players go back out into their position, Stephen Hoyle, plenty to think about on the Newcastle Jets bench. 6 changes coming into this game off the back of 3 defeats coming into this game as well. But so far, this game is taking a very different complexion than the first F3 derby that the Mariners won 4-1.
Well, I think also the great thing for Stephen Hoyle is he now understands that he can make wholesale changes, and he's got the depth of squad to do that. And for the team, which we may not have thought that they're the usual starting 11 players, but they've put in a really solid performance in this first 35 minutes.
It is the Mariners on the attack now. Coco DeCipio begins the defender looking to get around Karapides once again in the thick of the action and doing exceptionally well. You hear the protests?
There was a lot of protests, and I think they were probably well founded. You can see Taryn King on Alexis Collins. She went down.
She don't just fall for nothing. Thanks, good positioning, well done. Zoe, very good.
Well, here's an earlier incident the play's been called back for because Coco DeCipio has gone to grounds.
Yeah, that doesn't look good for Coco DeCipio. The way that she actually, her right leg stuck in the ground. You can see a little bit of hyperextension on her knee. She looks in a bit of bother. She hasn't moved much. She had that awkward fall earlier in the half from that cross by Peter Trimmis. She did well trying to take on Karapides, get past her. That one there. It looks like she just stomped into the ground. There was a little bit of a twisting motion, a little bit of hyperextension. Definitely doesn't look comfortable. She still hasn't moved. Taryn King, who we know has had a serious knee injury, has come back from it. I don't want to make any assumptions, but I really hope it's not too sinister, but it did not look pretty at all. It looked really concerning for Coco DeCipio.
The look on Taryn King's face tells a little bit of a story, and they say that often you know if you've done an ACL before.
Yeah.
Not to speak into existence, when you've done a serious knee injury before, you know what it feels like, and that may well apply if you've done it, you see someone else do it, and you know what that kind of feels like. But she is sitting up at least. That's a good sign.
Yeah, it's a good sign. I think Corey Babington, there'll definitely be a change here. You can see Mariners physio going through the test. It looks like just Coco DeCipio has a bit of strapping on that knee, just down below her sock line. Good to see that she's not in a load of pain. Physio going through all the usual little checks and balances with anything medial cruciate.
It looks like it's Tiana Fuller who is being ready to come on, the 17-year-olds. No starts so far this season. She was used extensively last season after scoring on her debut memorably against Canberra United. She scored 6 goals last season, and this time out may have just over a half of football to play, although you'd imagine there'll be quite a lot of added time in this first half.
Yeah, and another break in play. We've had the 2 drinks breaks. So Coco DeCipio with her head in her hands. Clearly it is. She's in a fair bit of discomfort there.
There's scenes you absolutely hate to see.
Yeah, as someone who's had a couple of serious knee injuries, it's just brutal, and I genuinely wish Isabella Coco DeCipio all the best and hope that it's maybe just a jarring, a bit of a hyperextension, and also extreme caution or a bit of instability off the back of it. It didn't look comfortable at all. No reason to take any more risks with her continuing on.
And of course, all of our thoughts with Isabella Coco DeCipio, who's being helped back to her feet and may well try and limp off here. And it's good to see on her feet, able to walk off under her own steam, but that is the face of someone who is incredibly disappointed with what has occurred, and all of our thoughts and all of our sympathies with the 23-year-old.
Yeah, just it looked awkward, didn't it? The way, like, just stuck in the ground. And then this ground, I heard Michelle Heyman have a few comments on it. Like, it's quite a firm ground. It's usually rugby league based, so, you know, especially in hot conditions like that, they can be a lot firmer. Haven't had too much rain.
Really, really sad scenes in Newcastle. Well, an opportunity for Tiana Fuller, the 17-year-old, to perhaps recapture some of that form from last season. She's had pretty limited opportunities this time out. The final third entry is very even in this game. Doesn't tell the full story. The Jets, the quality of the Jets' chances have perhaps been higher. And here they are looking to create another one through Hoban. Out to Brown. Kelly Brown looking for that centering ball. Well blocked away. And out for a corner again. The Jets winning a series of set pieces. Now the shade fully covering the penalty area, so this one will be a little bit easier for Annalie Grove.
That's right, makes it a lot easier. But the last 5 minutes of regulation time, we've had a few stoppages in play. These are kind of the dicey moments where everyone needs to stay switched on, particularly defensive corner. Lots of bodies around Grove.
The in-swinging delivery for the Jets. Grove rising highest and claiming well. So as they have done all game, they'll look to break quickly. It's been very transitional, very end-to-end. Prakash involved. The ball's broken really well to Fuller. The substitute, Tiana Fuller, in behind to Trimmers, who managed to stay onside. Trimmers playing it central to Quilligan. There's Quilligan on to Fuller. Tiana Fuller, will she take on the shot? It's blocked. Tess Quilligan was probably in the better position to take on the shot. She looked a little bit surprised that she received the ball in that area and just hesitated.
She did probably not, maybe didn't see the opportunity and thought Tiana Fuller was maybe in a bit of a better position, a little bit wider where she could take the player on. She decided to cut back inside and have a go herself.
Ball over the top, Rasmussen chasing it, the header, well. Annalie did very well to grab that from Tash Pryor. Tash Pryor attempting the header back to the keeper. Of course, you can do a back pass from your header if it's a header, but it was so powerful. Leeds done exceptionally well.
Well, Tash Pryor had to get something on that ball. And while I had my heart in my mouth thinking that maybe Tash Pryor had got too much on it and it was going to go over Annalie's head, but she had to get something on it, because if she hadn't, Annalise Rasmussen was just ghosting in behind her and would have had a one-on-one with Annalie and an easy opportunity at goal. So it was well done by Tash Pryor and Annalie. Both of them did really well.
It was almost an incredibly unfortunate striker's finish.
Yeah.
Lancaster on the ball on this side, across to Brown, picked up by Hoban. Sophie Hoban can't find a shooting angle. Dundas, Emma Dundas, long range strike, always rising.
Well, that was that ball talking about. Tash Pryor had to get something on that. Had to get Annalise Rasmussen, was just in behind. And then Jets go up the other end, down on that left-hand side. What I would say about the Jets that I've noticed, most of their attack goes down that right-hand side. They've had plenty of crosses on that right-hand side. Not a lot comes down this left-hand side. So maybe something that they could slightly adjust just to make it a little bit more unpredictable. I mean, they're getting good quality down that right-hand side and good success as well. But not wanting to be too predictable to the opposition and allow them to kind of allow them to then lock them into one side or try and keep them playing over one side.
And their attackers have changed sides, the two wingers. It looks like Kelly Brown and Charlotte Lancaster are playing on opposite sides, but then, as you say, the balls seem to still go down that right-hand side regardless, and now they're back to where they were at the beginning with Brown playing it into Karapides.
And you do tend to get that with certain teams. You know, they have more of a propensity to play down one side or another. And like I said, they're getting some really good success down that right-hand side. So not necessarily something that they have to change, but it just adds another dimension to the attack for the Jets if they can bring that ball wide out this left-hand side as well.
Grove under some pressure. Manages to get it away from the clutches of Sophie Hoban. Rasmussen and Quilligan do well. And Tiana Fuller not able to continue the attack. The Mariners will look to switch play. Through Thu. But under a lot of pressure here again, Sophie Hoban has been tireless in this game so far. Peter Trimis, though, an opportunity for a one-on-one. It's well defended.
Bates did really well staying with Trimis.
So 10 minutes of stoppage time in the first half. A couple of injury stoppages, a couple of cooling breaks as well, which has extended that stoppage time. It's not something you see very often in the first half, but given what we've seen in the first 45 minutes, it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, especially in these tough conditions. And great that they changed the kickoff of the game as well from 5 p.m. Makes a big difference. You could already see the shadow on the pitch compared to 2 hours earlier when it would have been in full sun, and that's when it really starts sapping the players' energy. And it's just difficult to stay hydrated when you don't have those 2 drinks breaks. 45 minutes is a long time without a sip of water in these conditions.
Good work from Pryor to get there ahead of Prakash. It's quite a startling height difference between Tash Pryor and Avani Prakash. And something that defenders use to their advantage in those situations. Heavy contact. Referee plays advantage for the Jets. Lancaster trying to play it in behind for the run of Hoban, or perhaps the run of Bates. Couldn't find either. Well, that's a poor clearance, though. It's picked up by Copus-Brown. Libby Copus-Brown to Kelly Brown. Top bins. The Newcastle Jets take the lead in the derby. And it's Kelly Brown with the goal.
Well, she's had a couple of opportunities, Kelly Brown. Gotten herself into great positions on that right-hand side. Wonderful strike, giving Grove no chance. Copus-Brown, just lovely weighted pass. But that first touch from Kelly Brown was so great. First touch here, one step, and then the next is a shot. That's so difficult to defend, and a wonderful finish from Kelly Brown.
Well, it's been coming. The Jets have had the better opportunities in the first half, and Kelly Brown, the player to tuck it away, the second goal of the season for her, the 7th in her Ninja A-League career. Of course, after stints at the Wellington Phoenix and the Perth Glory in 2024-25, comes to the Newcastle Jets, and this is the kind of impact she would love to be having. So the Jets lead. They did in the previous F3 derby as well, but the complexion of that game was very different. Peter Trimis denied an attack by the offside flag. Importantly, of course, Kelly Brown for the Jets, one of those 6 changes made by Stephen Hoyle. Now, they do have a very intense fixture schedule in the next few weeks. They have 4 games in 11 days, which explains some of the rotation, but these changes have worked. They have looked cohesive, and they've looked on top. The Mariners, though, want a goal before half-time. Pryor can get there before Tiana Fuller.
And that's so great to have as a team and a squad, the ability to make so many changes and for it to still seem cohesive and seamless. And I think we were questioning how it would work. They've had some tough results in previous weeks, but they've really come out and applied themselves and looked really good in this first half and created some great opportunities.
Jets looking to play it out from the back. Of course, still plenty of time remaining in this first half. 10 minutes of stoppages, and then you'd imagine it won't stop straight on 10 minutes. Usually add a minute for a goal. So still plenty of time left. It's that ball over the top. A little bit too much on it. Hanley Grove can claim. Annabelle Martin. It's the ball taken away by Lancaster. Can the Mariners find the equalizer before half-time? Of course, again, they did go down in the first F3 derby of the season in the first half. Eventually won that 4-1, but they were well on top in the first half before conceding. That has not been the case here today. And a little bit of frustration, perhaps, from Annalise Rasmussen up against Tash Pryor, who has not really put a foot wrong today, except perhaps a matter of inches away.
That was a great header by
with that defensive header.
That's right. It was great header by Tash Pryor.
Kajula It's just dropping dangerously. Fuller was arriving, couldn't quite get there. Heroic defense from the Jets, just threw themselves at it. Just the wind playing a part out there in holding up that cross. Trimmers. So Peter Trimmers couldn't get past Dundas. Now Lancaster goes to ground. A foul according to the referee. The Central Coast Mariners have the most number of yellow cards in the competition with 18 by a long margin. The Jets are second at 11, but no yellow cards so far in this game.
And probably Izzy Gomez has had a few of those as his
Had five, exactly, yep.
But, you know, some teams tend to get that reputation, but they go in for strong tackles. I wouldn't say there's anything sinister in any of those yellow cards, but that's quite a high number compared to the Jets.
They're always going to be a difficult side to beat, the Mariners, and have been since their reintroduction into the competition. They've always been well organised. They've always been difficult to break down under Emily Husband and now under their new coach, Corey Babington. That sturdy midfield is part of it. In this game, not so much. We haven't seen an explosive F3 derby just yet, but there's still plenty of time for that to happen.
Now we work off. Now we connect to each other. Connect to each other. Work off.
Trimmers. Can she reel this one in? She's chasing hard. She does keep it in, Trimmers. She's got support options coming. Still Peter Trimmers, one way, then the other. The cross on the left, the header, Rasmussen missed it. The Jets get away with that one again. Excellent work from Peter Trimmers, but Rasmussen was there, was unmarked. Couldn't steer a header with any kind of power.
Yeah, I thought Rasmussen could have done better with that header. Almost tried to flick it into that far corner.
Strong interception from Hoban. Sophie Hoban has Collins in front of her. Alexis Collins takes one touch, still going. Kelly Brown, shot blocked, and Collins misses the follow-up.
A great transition play from the Jets. Lex Collins out here, had the touch. I thought she was maybe going to hit that first time. She's definitely got a great strike on her. Decided to cut back in, try and get that ball to Kelly Brown, and then doesn't get the required contact for the follow-up.
Probably one of these youngsters, once she scores one, she'll feel more confident to take on those shots in the future, you'd imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess you're always looking for the percentage play as well, but there's that risk and reward question.
Prakash, a couple of heavy touches, out wide to Trimmers. Peter Trimmers, again searching for options, searching for the back post, headed away well by Pryor. Krajula looking for the shooting angle. Karapides chasing everything down in defence, gets it away for the Jets.
Another quality ball in from Peter Trimmers on this right-hand side, but Tash Pryor was equal to the task this time. Rasmussen just got in behind her for that previous cross, but she stuck close to Rasmussen, had the contact, and was able to clear the ball.
Now, Pryor has been very, very good today. Here the Jets go. Ball central, Collins. Can she get there? Alexis Collins takes a touch around Grove. The Grove makes a fantastic recovering save to prevent the youngster. Here comes Dundas. Can the Jets hit again before the break? It's cleared away. Rasmussen brought to ground, so play will come to a stop, and the Mariners will have a free kick.
It's been end-to-end stuff, hasn't it, Tara? I mean, Grove did so well to stay with Collins in that situation. Just stayed with it, didn't commit too early. Lex was trying to get around her, finish that ball into the back of the net, but great save by Grove.
Here come the Mariners once again. Ball not able to find a teammate. And the Jets can clear. Their attacks on that side have lacked a little bit of venom. It's really all been coming through Peter Trimmers. And Collins again.
She had nowhere getting, no, go away. She had nowhere. She had possession of the ball.
Great to listen in to the opinions of the Jets bench being gently rebuked by fourth official Michaela Ryan.
It was a good insight, wasn't it, into the questions around the contact with Lex Collins.
Well, halftime in Newcastle, and it's the home side, the Newcastle Jets, who currently have the lead. Kelly Brown with the goal after fantastic work from Libby Kopitz-Brown, wearing the captain's armband today to find her. Halftime, Newcastle Jets 1, Central Coast Mariners 0. So here's a look at how the first half panned out, and it's really been exciting end-to-end stuff.
Yeah, there's been plenty of action, plenty of opportunities. Great ball in by Lancaster to Lex Collins. Couldn't quite get a clean strike on it. Taryn King staying very close to her, and Dundas just putting it high and wide. This was a great ball in. This was probably the best chance for Kelly Brown early in the half. Really thought that was going to be in the back of the net, but just hit it wide of the mark.
And at this point we're wondering, well, have the Jets blown their chances? Are they going to get more chances? But they kept on coming.
Another great chance from Kelly Brown, Lex Collins. A lot of the attack from the Jets was down this right-hand side. Karapidis did so well to keep that ball in there. Grove with a little touch. And I thought that was a huge miss from Sophie Hoban. Ball bounces out. She was winding up and just hooked it on the left-hand side of the post.
Mariners, of course, had some opportunities of their own. This was inches away from disaster.
Tash Pryor had to get something on it. Rasmussen was right behind her, but credit to Anna Leet as well for reading that play. And then Kopitz-Brown, poor clearance by Mariners. Kopitz-Brown into Kelly Brown, and this is what we want to see from Kelly Brown. Lovely first touch, and then top bins. Great finish, and a well-deserved lead.
Absolutely well-deserved for the Newcastle Jets. Well, let's take a look at the stats from the first half now. Even in possession, the Jets 4 shots on target to 2. That stands out to me.
I mean, it's all been pretty even, Tara, and I think for the big chances of the game, Newcastle Jets have had the better chances, but it's been a wonderful half of football. Really looking forward to the next 45.
Yeah, don't go anywhere, still plenty more action to come in the second half.
Get ready to cheer, just like Liberty supports the A-League. They're on your team too. Whether you're planning a holiday or buying a new home, they can provide the assistance you need to keep your freedom up goals. Liberty, homes, thinkers. It's back and it's jackpot with the Newcastle Jets collaboration with Sparta giving you the chance to share a prize of $75,000. You can successfully launch your pet play into the Smart Lotto today.
Welcome back to number 2 Sports Ground in Newcastle, where it is currently the home side Newcastle Jets leading the Central Coast Mariners 1-0. Of course, there is plenty happening across the league, and last week against the Brisbane Roar, unfortunately, Wellington Phoenix's Napoli star Samba's season came to an end, suffering a serious knee injury. We send our best wishes to the fan favourite for a speedy recovery, but also celebrate her impact on the league, reflected in the strong Napoli presence at Wonderland a few weeks ago.
Football Park in Western Sydney is affectionately known by locals as Wonderland, but when Wellington Phoenix came to town, it was Sambaland. More than 1,600 fans rolled up to catch a glimpse of their hero.
She's born in Nepal, so anyone from Nepal is always good.
And we support Samba.
And she is the beacon of hope in Nepalese women's football, and she's here doing amazing thing, being the lethal striker she's meant to be.
I'm also from Nepal. We love her too.
And after scoring a brace in Wellington's record 7-0 demolition of Sydney last time out, hopes were high Samba would add to her tally. Amongst the faithful was the state's honorary consul of Nepal, who brought along his family to witness football royalty in the flesh.
She is the first player of Nepalese origin to be in A-League. We're so proud of her. You can see, I think probably half the crowd has, come here to attend the event. Of course, but because of Samba, right? You can see young kids who are born here, especially Nepalese origin kids, and other kids as well, what it means to them. Like, and when they see crowd, when they see support, I think that really encourages them, inspires them.
Once the match kicked off, the crowd cheered every one of Samba's touches, and they didn't have to wait long for her to make a meaningful impact.
Dropping to Samba, and it's Emma Main who's on the spot, can steer it into the back of the net for the Wellington Phoenix.
Early in the second half, Samba delivered what they all came to see.
Searching for a Phoenix shirt. Samba falls to her perfectly, and it's Samba on the spot.
Moments later, she was in the thick of the action once again.
Samba, great speed, centering pass to Emma Main, and for her second of the afternoon.
Full time brought another groundswell of emotion and celebration as Wellington retained the coveted Sister City Cup against the Wanderers. Plus, a chance for the adoring crowd to meet their idol. Autographs, selfies, and photo opportunities continued for almost an hour after sealing the win. Samba intent on giving back to every one of her supporters in Sydney's West, a dedication admired by her coach.
I think you can see what she brings to the league. I think for us it helps us on the road, right? It feels like we've got that home support. She looked electric tonight. I think she doesn't just score goals, she causes havoc for her backline. I think sometimes that brings other players into the game, and she's super humble, and I think that's a great quality for a top player. I think it was very forward thinking from the club to support a recruitment for someone as good as Samba, and to know that she's at this club for 2 years is excellent.
So the sky is the limit for Samba and her loving fans, as the Knicks set their sights on a maiden finals appearance in their 5th season in the Ninja A-League.
Well, you heard Phoenix coach Bev Priestman there. Samba in the competition for 2 years. So unfortunately, while we won't see more of her this season, there is still plenty of Samba to come in the Ninja A-League. Well, turning our attention back to this game, it is the Newcastle Jets who currently lead the Central Coast Mariners 1-0, and it was thanks to this goal scored by Kelly Brown.
Yeah, it wasn't a great clearance by Taryn King, straight to Libby Copus-Brown, who played it into Kelly Brown. A one-touch, another step, and then it was top bins. Mariners will be really disappointed with how they conceded that goal. They've played really well, being competitive, and what a strike by Kelly Brown.
Great combination between Brown squared there to get the goal. Here is how round 12 has played out so far. We've had a scoreless draw to start us off. Perth Glory and Melbourne City getting the wins earlier in the round. Newcastle Jets currently leading the Mariners 1-0, and Melbourne Victory taking on the Brisbane Roar tomorrow. Well, don't go anywhere. Plenty of second half action to come in Newcastle. It is currently the home side with the 1-goal advantage. Welcome back to number 2 Sports Ground in Newcastle, where it is the home side, the Newcastle Jets leading their biggest rivals, the Central Coast Mariners, 1-0 at half-time. Kelly Brown scoring the only goal of the first half in what was a back-and-forth affair, a very open 45 minutes, plus 10 of football, and one in which the Jets looked very good value for their lead. Of course, the Jets did take the lead in the first F3 derby earlier in the season. The Mariners went on to win that game 4-1. So the Mariners will be hoping that they can pull off a similar comeback today. But for the Jets, whose team had a total of 6 changes from last week, including captain Cass Davis sat on the bench, the experience of Lauren Allen, Melina Ayres, the youngster Josie Allen all on the bench. Well, that has not perturbed the Newcastle Jets in the slightest. If they continue to play the way they did in that first half, they are looking the goods to walk away with only their second victory over the Central Coast Mariners. Of course, they would need to win by 3 goals or more if they want to take home the F3 Derby trophy, the coveted piece of the guardrail of the freeway that links Gosford and Newcastle, and of course Newcastle and Sydney as well. But all of that is secondary to the task of walking away with 3 points, snapping this 3-game losing streak and getting one over their rivals. It's the Central Coast Mariners who will get us underway in this second half. They are the team chasing the game. Golden Boot leader Annalise Rasmussen standing over the ball. They had to make one change in the first half with Tiana Fuller replacing the injured Isabella Coco DeCipio. But no changes for either side at half-time. Is Fuller receiving some instructions from Tyron King. This isn't something we see very often. The referees are late. The players are all ready to go. The referees usually sticklers for time. It's Beck Mackey who is making her way to the middle, looking a little bit bemused. Looking at her watch. I'm not late, you're late.
Maybe she was having a free Zupa Duper that the Newcastle Jets have been providing to all the fans. Had to finish a Zupa Duper at half-time before she came out.
Well, Zupa Dupers safely consumed. Players ready to go for this second half. Beck Mackey just making sure everything's okay. Maybe it was more seriously an issue with the communication equipment because she's looking to her ear, looking at her watch, and we are back underway. It's Avani Prakash playing the ball forward for the Mariners as they look to chase down this 1-goal margin in the second half. Fuller's snapshot dragged wide. And can we expect to see a lot more of that from the Mariners in the second 45, Ish Ferguson?
Well, they're chasing the game. It's been a really even game possession-wise. Opportunities, probably clear-cut opportunities. The Jets have had the better of them. But Central Coast Mariners definitely still in this. Peter Tremis has been excellent in the first half.
Here's Hoban driving into the penalty area, takes on the shot herself. 2 shots in the first 35 seconds, 1 from each team. That's always an encouraging sign for what is set to be an exciting 45 minutes of action.
Well, it's been, well, it started similar. It was really end-to-end action in that first half, even with the 2 drinks breaks. Very warm conditions here in Newcastle. They've got to slip and slide down one side, the free Zupa Dupers for the fans to try and cool the punters down, but tough conditions out there for the players, and I always wonder about that momentum shifting when you have a break in play. But both teams have been excellent. Both teams up to this. This was a real derby match, and we've got a big 45 minutes ahead of us.
Here's Bauman for the Mariners. They're in a Bauman, looking to find Rasmussen in behind. Instead, it'll come to Fuller. Quilligan. Lovely ball in for Bauman. They're in a Bauman. The ball across the face. And Prakash couldn't quite get on the end of that ball from Rasmussen. It was clever from the Mariners, but now it's the Jets in transition, end-to-end again. Lancaster cutting back inside. Still Charlotte Lancaster takes on the strike. Annalie Grove able to save.
And how quickly things transition from attack to defence. Lovely little ball from Bowman, just was out of reach from Avani Prakash. And then what a run from Lancaster down this left-hand side, jinking left, right, gets it onto her left foot. Lovely strike at goal, but Grove up to the task.
Well, if you've just spent half-time wandering around, getting some food, you've missed 2 minutes of exciting action already. Neither of these teams are relenting. This is exactly what derbies are about. No yellow cards yet in this F3 derby. Things have been all above board. The football has done the talking so far. You wonder if things might explode in the second half. There's a history of that in these kinds of games. Mariners playing it out from the back through Tyron King, then Grove, and Baxter Thu. Trying to make headway down this right-hand side, but Pryor has been all over Annalise Rasmussen so far. One of those players that can match Rasmussen's strength in the penalty area and has the experience and wherewithal to hold her back. Of course, prior 11 appearances for the Matildas. Hasn't been selected in a squad since that June-July window, but is certainly in the mix for the Asian Cup in March, and that's surely got to be in the back of her mind as well as she goes through this season. Bauman's ball. Trimis drops deep to collect. Martin. Back to Trimis. Krajula. Nice touch just to keep away Sophie Hoban. Hoban's been the Newcastle presser-in-chief in midfield. She's caused a lot of turnovers in that area. Rasmussen looking for numbers forward, looking to find Trimis. Trimis can't keep it under control, and in fact controlled the ball with her hands in the end, so the Jets able to start from a free kick.
That was a tough ball in from Rasmussen for Peter Trimis to try and control.
Copus Brown. Kelly Brown, the two that combined for the goal. Kelly Brown driving into space. Kelly Brown shooting from distance. Both sides appealing. The end decision is a goal kick. Just taking a look back at this earlier Mariners chance, pretty clearly hit the arm.
It was the right idea from Rasmussen. She just sliced the ball kind of off the side of her foot rather than, you know, curling it into Peter Trimis, who unfortunately overran it, ran it, and had her arm out as well. But nice positive start from Kelly Brown too. We saw her have those couple of opportunities and a goal in the first half. Definitely the most dangerous player for the Jets.
Prakash playing it forward, intercepted by Karapides. Karapides up to Brown. You could see the idea from Kelly Brown, maybe a bit of a miscommunication. Alexis Collins would have had to be extremely quick to get there.
Yeah, look, there was space down the line. I think Lex Collins would prefer to be more central as that focal point of the Jets' attack rather than running the ball away from goal and then trying to do something, get across him when you actually want Lex Collins in the middle of the goal.
The ball would have been perfect if Kelly Brown had been waiting on the end of Kelly Brown's pass.
That's exactly
unfortunately, can't replicate yourself. Fuller. Trying to find the teammate. Excuse me, Tiana Fuller. Absolutely not there. She's on the left-hand side of the attack. The Jets marching forward. Hoban. Her pass intercepted. And that little battle results in a Mariners free kick. Hoban kicked the ball away as well, and that'll earn her the first yellow card of the match. A little bit of frustration from Sophie Hoban on Annabelle Martin there.
Well, I'm not sure what Sophie Hoban was so annoyed about. She had her arms on Annabelle Martin. There was a bit of tussle there. She was behind Annabelle Martin, kind of pulled her to ground, got herself caught up, and then kicks the ball away and earns herself a yellow card. Probably unnecessary.
That's Derby Day-ish. Tempers flare. Here come the Mariners in search of that equalizer. Bauman, Prakash, Trimis. Peter Trimis with the shot! It's deflected in! The Central Coast Mariners have their equalizer, and it's Peter Trimis, the centre of everything for them today, who gets the goal.
It was a wonderful pass into Avani Prakash in a central area, just in behind Dundas, just helped it on into Peter Trimis. But again, Peter Trimis' skill and ability where she just shifts that ball outside of the defender onto her right foot where she can get a strike on goal. Positive play again, deflection just takes it up and over. An elite. Or was there a deflection, Taryn? Tough to tell on this one, but wonderful work from Peter Trimis and a well-deserved goal for her.
Now that might have gone clean in. You know, it looked the way that it slowed off her boot. It fooled everyone, including the goalkeeper, Annalise.
Well, it might be just the technique that she hit it. So when you hit down onto that ball, we see players like a Cristiano Ronaldo, you hit down onto that ball, you kind of chop it. It tends to go up very quickly and then dip over quickly. So definitely, let's give that one to Peter Trimmis. Won't take anything away from her. It was a wonderful goal.
Now Rasmussen in space. Annalise Rasmussen rises over the crossbar.
Well, they're back, aren't they? Rasmussen, again, positive, using her strength, battling through Pryor. Another little touch there, just couldn't keep that shot down.
Mariners again searching for another. Suddenly the momentum has shifted. The Jets need a moment here. Fuller, that one certainly did deflect, and that side kindly into the arms of Annalise. Vani Prakash, moment for her as well, her first assist in the competition this season. She's been in and out of the team, started the season sort of in place of Izzy Gomez when Gomez was in and out with injury to begin. But I think on her performances, it's very, very difficult to not select her in the future if you're Corey Babington, because she's been very, very good.
Well, the question is then, who do you bring out of that starting 11? I think Tess Quilligan has been solid tonight. Hard to replace Izzy Gomez. She's such an instrumental part of this Central Coast Mariners team. Going forward defensively, gets stuck in, that level of aggression, that quality, her goal-scoring ability. And I definitely think I enjoyed watching the combination of Avani Prakash and Izzy Gomez against Adelaide last week. Just unfortunate they couldn't get the win, but there was really positive signs.
Karapides into Collins, but Mariners winning out. Fuller involved. Rasmussen trying to get back and win the ball as well, but that's great work from the Jets. Collins out to Kelly Brown. Kelly Brown, delivery not a good one. And the Mariners will recommence play with a free kick. But how about this passing move here from the Jets?
And Karapides again, just twirls out 3 players on her. Lovely little touch from Kelly Brown to Alexis Collins on that right-hand side, but just sliced that ball out for a goal kick. Wasn't able again to get that toe around, try and get that whip and curl into the box.
Pressure from Collins. Suddenly it's the Jets who might look to force things here. There is scheduled to be 2 cooling breaks in this half as well, so it'll provide 2 opportunities for the coaches to speak to their teams again. Here's Bauman. Marina Bauman. Peter Trimmis. Peter Trimmis thought about shooting, instead plays a beautiful ball to Prakash, but her first touch was too heavy. We've praised Peter Trimmis highly today, and that was a fantastic decision to play in Prakash. It was a shame about the touch. Here come the Jets straight away in transition. In behind for Lancaster. Lancaster's cut back to nobody on the penalty spot. Mariners get away with that one. The players for the Jets just overrunning it.
It was a great run again from Lancaster right down to the byline. Lex Collins had made a run to the near post, but it was just slightly behind her and there were no other Jets players following in.
The thriller-minute stuff at the moment in the F3 derby. This is what you expect from a game, a rivalry like this. As the Mariners just holding, forcing the Jets to make all the decisions with the ball at their feet. Clever from Lee to draw Prakash in. Pryor. Uncharted territory. Nice turn in midfield from Hoban. Back to Pryor. Karapides. Forced all the way back is Copus Brown. Karapetes just running around everywhere, loses a shin pad. Jets still have possession. And things really, for the first time in this half, come to a bit of a lull.
I'm enjoying this patient possession from the Jets. They've moved it from left to right.
And there's the direct ball that we've been waiting for and almost coming off, but hands over possession to the Mariners in the end.
As I said that, and that long ball went forward, Darren. And wrong timing for that, but it was a lovely period of controlled possession. Just trying to not only control possession, but also control the tempo of the game.
It's a nice ball over the top to Lancaster. Lancaster looking for options at the back post. Brown made her run a little bit too central for that ball, but once again, it's encouraging stuff for the Jets.
She's gotten in plenty of times on that left-hand side. Lancaster, that delivery just a bit too much on it, went over the head of Kelly Brown at the far post.
Annabelle Martin's just struggling to deal with her tonight. Nice turn from Karapetes. Unfortunately, the delivery not quite matching. The Mariners with a few more passes with a little bit more possession, but it's very even. The Jets have had the better of the opportunities so far in this game, but scores are level. Fuller against Karapetes. The crowd not happy. Mariners bench not happy.
Well, it's a free kick for the Jets, and I absolutely think that should be a free kick for the Mariners. Look at Karapetes, has got her hands pulling her jersey from behind. Her arm is behind, pulling Tiana Fuller. I think that should have been a Central Coast Mariners free kick.
And Tiana Fuller, 17 years of age, she's a quietly spoken kind of kid. She's done a few post-game interviews for Paramount Plus and Channel 10, and you can't imagine her getting in a bit of a Barney, but she's not going to back down either.
Well, Taryn King had a chat to her at the start of this half.
Dundas. Now to Kelly Brown. Kelly Brown's delivery, a good one. Grove gets a glove on it. Put back into the middle. Cleared away. Jets still have it. The shot from distance. Straight into the gloves of Grove. Nice turn again, Peter Trimmis. Just glides past the defence. Peter Trimmis still driving forward into the penalty area now, looking for support. Looking for Fuller, but Karapetes was there. Anish Ferguson, I can see your coach hat whirring, but in the meantime, it's the Jets in transition. Collins, Alexis Collins one-on-one, gives time for the Mariners defenders to get back and has the ball taken away. Just couldn't find a way past Taryn King in that one-on-one situation, but going all the way back to the Mariners there. Got a very, very frustrated Ish Ferguson next to me.
Oh, it was a great run by Peter Trimmis, but Tiana Fuller made this run directly into the same space of Rasmussen. There was so much space on the left-hand side, the top of the 18-yard box, and I was just willing her to just hold her run and almost curve her run out, because Peter Trimmis, when she cut back, there was so much space where she could have played it there.
So the first cooling break of the second half. There are 2 of these per half. And taking a look back at the 2 goals of this game so far, it was the Jets in the first half through Kelly Brown.
Taryn King won't be happy with that distribution. Trying to play it to Tess Quilligan, I believe. Copus Brown straight to her, tucked it into Kelly Brown with a 1 touch, and second touch was in top bins. Great strike from Kelly Brown.
And then the Mariners equalised. Peter Trimmis, lovely technique, no deflection. We don't think on replay. This was just all technique from Peter Trimmis to stump everyone, including Annalie.
What I loved is as Peter Trimmis received the ball, you could see her eyes go directly towards the goal and have a little look up. Rather than just keeping her head down, she received it, had a look up, had another couple of touches, and then a lovely strike on goal to get that up and over Annalie Grove.
Yeah, it's a performance that deserved a goal, but again, the Jets will be kicking themselves that they didn't convert more of their chances in the first half, because now it looks like the Mariners have just gotten a little bit of ascendancy in this second 45. I mean, you look at the goals conceded and when they're scored, that they're pretty even, except for the Mariners have conceded 40% of their goals in the last 15 minutes. Now, that's skewed very much by that Melbourne victory draw, where they conceded 3 goals in stoppage time, but you would back the Jets on the stats in the second half to score another and be able to get one over the Mariners, but on the evidence of our eyes and this game in front of us, it does seem like it's the Mariners who are in the ascendancy.
Well, at the moment, but it's really ebbed and flowed, hasn't it? And it's been a pretty evenly matched game. Definitely Jets have had the more clear-cut chances in that first half, but without having as many shots on goal, you know, Central Coast Mariners have done really well. And I think also Taryn King would be really disappointed about giving that ball away and how they conceded that first goal. So again, on reflection, it has been quite an even match, highly entertaining match. It's been end-to-end, plenty of quality football as well, and exactly what we'd expect from a derby.
Well, it's the Mariners in possession once more. That's a lovely touch from Rasmussen for trying to chase this one down, as well as Prakash. Again, 2 players just in their own space there. In that cooling break, Corey Babington went over to Fuller, put his arm around her and had a little one-on-one conversation with her, and I suspect that he was saying the same things that you were. You can see the possession in each third stat there. It's been very even. A lot of the game played in the middle third of the pitch, and that's what makes this second half so unpredictable. It is anyone's game. Copus Brown winning out. Krajula, a very unsubtle tug of the shirt, will earn herself a yellow card.
And a nice little push by Libby Copus Brown. She was quite frustrated with that tug of the shirt by Krajula. We've seen a few tugs of the shirt. I mean, that one was pretty obvious. Copus Brown was away, not happy with being held up when she had the momentum going forward, which is absolutely fair enough. Maybe it's starting to get a bit tetchy out there now, Taryn. 1-1, the derby. Pressure starts to build.
Well, the temperature might be cooling down, but it's heating up out there. It's sizzling. It has been exciting end-to-end stuff, and as exhilarating as it has been to watch, you can imagine it's been exhilarating to play in as well, and I imagine we'll see some of those threads play out in the final 30 minutes or so. An Elite coming up to take the free kick for the Jets. Header was won, but it'll go all the way out for a Mariners goal kick. Of course, don't forget the experience on the Newcastle Jets bench. Cass Davis, their captain, Melina Ayres, Lauren Allen, the 3 most notable names on that bench, especially Cass Davis. You'd imagine we'll see her at some stage, and she'll have a great calming effect on her teammates out there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Stephen Hoyle does. We're in the 67th minute. No changes so far. Both teams look very comfortable.
Here to Trimmis again. Forced backwards. Mariners will recycle possession from the back. Likely look to switch play down this left-hand side. That is where they go. Bauman. Bauman looking for Prakash. Words of encouragement from the Mariners bench. Fuller trying to apply the pressure on Karapides, and, well, we thought she was hard done by the first time when she conceded the foul against Karapides. That one a little bit more obvious.
Yeah, a little bit more obvious, maybe a little bit of frustration coming in. Also trying to impact the play, win that ball higher up the pitch. Really keep the pressure on with either team playing out from the back.
Well done from Collins to play it into Brown. Kelly Brown assessing what she can do from this right-hand side. Can't get past Karen King. Well defended, but then not able to be kept in by Bauman.
That was well, nice composure from Taryn King.
The Jets still on the attack. Brown really well trying to play it into Dundas, and in the clearance for the Mariners, they've hit the referee, Beck Mackey, so that means it'll be a drop ball to the favour of the Mariners. That rule only came in the last few seasons, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It can be frustrating. Yeah, I've been in those situations, and then the ball falls to the opposition and they actually gain an advantage from it. So it makes sense just to stop play and reset with a drop ball.
Here come the Mariners, a high delivery. Rasmussen chasing after it. Can she turn? She couldn't find it, and Fuller and Peters again. Oh, Tiana Fuller is in the wars at the moment, but she just can't find a way to get on the ball with those runs.
Well, she's trying to affect the play. She looks like she's getting a little bit frustrated there. It looked like there was maybe another little tug of a shirt, trying to win that ball back. You've got to maintain your composure, especially in games like this. Also remember, you're still on an even keel. So really super important that you maintain your composure under pressure.
Trimmers. Peter Trimmers, the delivery. Rasmussen! Annalise Rasmussen goes clear on top of the Golden Boot race. And the Central Coast Mariners take the lead in the derby.
Well, we've said that name plenty of times during this game. Peter Trimmers on that right-hand side. So difficult to mark. She's got her head up, little outside again, shifts that ball outside of the defender on her right foot. And Rasmussen, just in the near post, gets in front of Karapides, out-muscles her, and it's 2-1 to the Mariners.
8 goals for the season for Annalise Rasmussen, 20 years of age. She almost came from nowhere. The girl from Gosford, she was their first signing when they re-entered the competition, represented her first Australian team in the off-season, the Australian under-23s, and now leading the Golden Boot race with 3 months to go to the Asian Cup. It seems far-fetched, but this is our hottest property in terms of goal scoring in the Ninja A-League right now, Annalise Rasmussen.
And you love to see it. You love to see local players playing for their local clubs, getting opportunities and being successful. And she's really starting to mature as a player. She's got so many different facets of her game. She can play with her back to goal. She can get in front and those near posts, get onto crosses, muscle her way in. She'd like sometimes to drop deep, pick the ball up and turn and run at the opposition defence, and a wonderful goal from Rasmussen.
And this is where the Jets will be feeling a little bit sick, because they had so many opportunities in the first half. The Mariners have had 2 good ones and they've scored 2 goals, and now they're in the lead.
Yeah, it's as simple as that, Taryn. They're the frustrating moments, the big moments in games where you don't take your chances. You could have been 2-0 up, changes the momentum of the game, makes it a whole different prospect. But it'll definitely be something that will cause, I think, Stephen Hoyle and the whole squad frustration.
Trimmers got the assist for that goal after scoring the first. Cash has the ball taken away though. Fuller applying the pressure. Dundas. Copus Brown. Look to find Kelly Brown, but Brown not able to get it under control. Stephen Hoyle now preparing some substitutes for the Jets. Josie Allen and Lauren Allen. So Allen squared, getting ready to come on after we saw Brown squared be involved in the goal earlier. Tiana Fuller winning the foul on that occasion. Looks like Melina Ayres is also being readied as we see a replay of this foul.
Well, what a battle Karapides and Fuller are having on this left-hand side. It looks like it'll be a triple change for Stephen Hoyle. Now's the time. They've gone behind. They've got some guaranteed, they've got some very experienced goal scorers. Obviously no players guaranteed goals, but now is the time to take those risks and get yourself back into the game and on an even keel.
Yeah, so much experience on the bench. We've talked about it ad nauseum. 6 changes from the previous game. They're coming into this one on the back of 3 consecutive defeats. They needed something to change. Brown going to ground there. So in this situation, if you're the Mariners, you've got the 1-goal advantage. Do you just try and slow the game down, try to play things on your terms, or is it a case of, no, we might need to score another here to make things safe?
Me personally, I would try and manage this game out. I would try and get the ball out of play as much as possible, slow the game down, keep possession. Much easier to defend when you have possession of the ball.
So here are these changes for Newcastle, a triple change. Melina Ayres, Lauren Allen and Josie Allen making their way onto the pitch. The captain for today, Libby Copus Brown, one of the players withdrawn. Kelly Brown, the goal scorer, one of the others. And wholesale changes here for the Jets as they look to get themselves back in this game. Charlotte Lancaster, the 3rd player coming off. So Lauren Allen, Josie Allen and Melina Ayres, the 3 on. Charlotte Lancaster, goal scorer Kelly Brown, and a sister of that goal, Libby Copus Brown, the 3 off. The Mariners looking to take advantage of some early confusion after the subs, perhaps. Trimmis, Peter Trimmis, shot blocked away. It'll come out to Tess Quilligan. Didn't bounce kindly for her. So it's Trimmis again, tasked with creating something, and Elite able to take a comfortable catch. A triple change like that, how does that change the dynamic of the game, Ish?
Well, I think it should be high press from the front with those fresh legs. All attacking players trying to get fresh legs in, keep the pressure on Central Coast Mariners, try and win the ball back high up the pitch. Get it to the likes of the Melina Ayres. We know we've seen her score some spectacular goals.
Here come the Mariners once again. Prakash. Ivani Prakash out to Peter Trimmis. How many times have we seen this today? Trimmis assessing. Quilligan. Tess Quilligan from distance. Oh, why not? It could have deflected anywhere as well. Third Claudia Chico will be the player to clear for the Jets. Straight back to the Mariners in possession, though.
Well, I think this is where the Jets really need to try and go at the Mariners, try and put pressure on them. They keep trying to either play the long ball to turn around the Jets defenders, or Ivani Prakash is sitting between the midfield and the defensive line.
Lauren Allen, fresh legs. We know her pace up top. Lorena Baumann knows her well as well. Former teammates. Ball's found its way back to Lauren Allen. The turn in the penalty area. Hoban's gone to ground, clutching her foot. Not illegally, says referee Beck Mackey. So here they come again. The Jets, it's Collins, whose ball is intercepted. Now Prakash has some space to run into. This is where she's the most dangerous. Fuller looking for options, and instead it'll be taken away by Karapides. Hoban, that ball in behind, not able to be chased down by Collins. Here's the penalty shout again.
It was good pressure, numbers around the ball. Allen, quick little turn, lovely vision. Looked like there could have been contact, but on that replay, you can see Hoban just pirouetted on the ball and lost her footing in the 18-yard box. A good decision by Beck Mackey.
So the final cooling break of the game comes as the Central Coast Mariners lead the Newcastle Jets 2-1. Just like the first F3 derby this season, the Jets scored first, the Mariners have the lead. Can the Jets flip the script this time, though, and get themselves back in the fixture? We'll take a moment to admire the work of Annalise Rasmussen today, the current Golden Boot leader. She's now scored 8 goals this season. She scored the second for the Mariners today. She's been really, really strong up top.
And that was great positioning between Pryor and Chico. Just a little chest and then kind of barged her way through as well. I mean, the combination and the understanding between Peter Trimmis on the right-hand side and Rasmussen just behind Karapides was on the back, like just behind her shoulder. So Karapides had to be watching the ball. And then as Peter Trimmis crossed the ball in, just ducked in front of her towards the near post and was able to get a foot on it. Really clever work on the right-hand side from Trimmis and a great finish from Rasmussen.
Yeah, fantastic from Annalise Rasmussen. A strike rate this season, 8 goals in 11 games. And in fact, it's 8 goals in 7 because it took her a few to get going this season. Again, for a player who's only 20, the trajectory of her career at the moment is only going up and up and up. It's wonderful for the club to have a local player have such an impact. Of course, so many players in the Mariners coming from Sydney, a few coming from Newcastle as well.
Even just at her age, Taryn, she's a 20-year-old and she's really leading the line. Looks like an experienced player, and you see her develop with each season, with each game. She's bringing more things. She's more dynamic. Again, talk about playing with the back to goal, getting in front, getting in the box, good in the air as well, reads the play really well, likes to drop deep, you know, becoming a really well-rounded attacker, and that's wonderful when you lose someone like an Izzy Gomez from a bit of experience side of things in the centre of midfield, that you know that you've got Annalise Rasmussen and Peter Trimmis who are in great form. And that player too, Avani Prakash, been so impressed with her. The more games she gets and the more time she gets, the more consistent she's getting. And she's been wonderful again tonight for the Mariners.
Peter Trimmis, of course, only 19 herself, has been exceptional as well. We're probably more used to chatting up young, pacey wingers as we are to back-to-goal, strong, tall strikers, and that's probably why with Rasmussen it's so exciting to see someone like that performing in our National League. The Jets, though, they don't want to see any more of that. They want another goal or two to take with them after a strong performance in this game so far. Hoban in for Lauren Allen. Lauren Allen manages to keep it in. Not quite. Much to the frustration of the Jets and Alexis Collins in the box.
And Karapides, Krasula was calling for a foul as Karapides got a touch on the ball and then pulled her down. There's been a few niggling moments in this match between these two teams.
That's a nice turn from Fuller. Tiana Fuller is off and away. Tracked every step by Karapides. Fuller's delivery. Rasmussen! It fell to her nicely and she sent it into outer space.
Well, I was going to say that they should have had a runner in that near post for Tiana Fuller's cross into the box. It was a wonderful cross. There was a gaping hole at the near post where no one was, and I was wondering where Rasmussen was, and she was just coming in a little bit later into that 18-yard box. Probably had time to have a touch. A lot easier to say from our position up here in the heat of the moment when you think the ball sits up and you're quite confident. You think, why not? I might have a strike. Get one of those spectacular finishes.
Foul here on Bauman. Enthusiasm off the bench from Lauren Allen to try and win the ball back. Fuller not able to control. Mariners have still only made that one sub. It was Fuller for Coco DeCipio in the first half, injury enforced. Corey Babington has not turned to his bench since. I wonder if he's been a little bit spooked after that Melbourne Victory game where, in fairness, they were leading by 3 goals, but he emptied the bench in that game and Victory managed to score 3 goals in stoppage time to equalise. This has been the almost opposite approach in a much warmer day.
Well,
trusting the team he has out there.
Well, yeah, I think also the players that have been out there have been performing really well. So do you want to actually change that cohesion?
Look how high Tash Pryor is there to win that foul. So maybe a little bit of change at that second cooling break as well to see Pryor take more of an active role in attack. She's been fouled very high up the pitch and has given the Jets an opportunity from an attacking set piece.
Well, we see it at the Matildas level. Sometimes we used to see Alana Kennedy push forward, didn't we? Even if we were behind or needed something different to happen. So let's see what happens in this last 7 minutes.
Lauren Allen entrusted with set piece delivery. A lot of space at that far post. Allen's delivery, the header won, but can only float wide.
Well, there was space in there directly towards that penalty spot. Got a bit more height on it, and Tash Pryor with her stature got up for the header, but just couldn't direct it on target.
So it's the Newcastle Jets to make another substitution. Zoe Karapidis comes off. A great shift from her. She was fantastic today. The Kiwi Olivia Page comes on, her 6th appearance in the competition. The Kiwi previously at Sheffield United in the UK. This gives Karapidis a little bit of a break after what was a hard day's work and a hard tussle, particularly with Tiana Fuller after she came on.
Yeah, it was a good little battle on this right-hand side. Tiana Fuller getting quite feisty out there, trying to make things happen. Lots of physicality.
Oh, the Jets winning out here. Ball centred. Collins can't turn around, but Hoban can shoot. Wide from the edge of the area and out for a corner.
It was lovely vision. Melina Ayres, just lovely composure. Had a look up, saw Lex Collins at that front post. Lex nice and composed as well with her back to goal. Hoban just trying to place that ball into the far post and gets a little touch out for a corner.
Well, plenty of pressure once again on Mariners goalkeeper Annalie Grove. We saw this a lot in the first half. So Josie Allen and Annabelle Martin being chided by the referee. Everyone keep your hands to yourself, she's saying. Plenty of pressure right on the goal line for the Mariners. Josie Allen, the centre of that. Here's the delivery. It's flat and it's straight out of play, which Annalie Grove is absolutely delighted with.
Yeah, she would be delighted with that, but that's disappointing from Allen. You're late in the game, you've got a set-piece opportunity, and you've kicked it straight out and given possession back to Central Coast Mariners. And not just that, it's also time wasted. Time wasted not keeping the ball in play.
So a double change here for the Mariners. We were just calling on them, just wondering when those changes would come. Tamar Levin and Millie Farrow, the two players coming on. Peter Trimis and Avani Prakash, the two making way. So Peter Trimis, what a game it's been from her. It would just be fatigue and minutes managed because she has been absolutely top-notch for the Mariners. A goal and an assist for her, as has Avani Prakash. Has been creative in midfield and made things happen. So two of the Mariners' best coming off, still two teenagers, earning a well-earned rest. Tamar Levin, well, she scored last time these two sides played after coming on as a substitute, and Millie Farrow, the Englishwoman, we know just what she can do in this competition. She burst onto the scene with the Perth Glory. Injuries have hampered her since, but she'll be hoping to have an impact here for the Mariners, potentially straight away. Levin, Rasmussen from distance! Oh my goodness, just wide. That is how quickly the Mariners can turn on the attack.
And that is the sign of a striker who with loads of confidence and who is in form. This is still quite wide out, outside the 18-yard box, and she's decided to take the strike first time. I love that from Annalise Rasmussen. Nice and positive. Just shows you how full of confidence she is at the moment.
Yeah, she certainly is. And you just thought when she struck it, the form she's been in, you thought it was nestling in the bottom of the net because you just had that kind of trust in her at the moment.
Well, it was the angle looked decent and it was kind of bobbled just before Annalete as well, which always makes it difficult, but was just wide of the mark. Tough to see how far wide from the angle that we were watching at.
That was a foul, though. That was a fairly clear foul by Rasmussen on Pryor, who again is pushing forward for the Jets. You imagine her being forward for set pieces, and a yellow card produced, perhaps in the direction of Taryn King for protesting a little bit too much. We'll get confirmation on that. Here's the delivery from Leet, the header, defensive header, has just gone wide from Bauman. Jets take the corner quickly, header one, Grove saved it the first time, and a goal line clearance, it's still live. What is happening here? Cleared off the line again, the referee saying no goal. Heroic goal line defending from the Mariners to retain their advantage. The Jets still in possession, play has not stopped. They will keep coming here. The Newcastle Jets, Lauren Allen in behind Collins, great first touch. Pryor's still involved in an attacking sense in the penalty area, and then finally play is stopped. So finally we can take stock of what we have just seen.
I thought that was in. What a header from Allen. What a save from Grove. And then it was just desperation. Annabelle Martin off the line. This was the one I thought was in. Annabelle Martin again looked to me from this angle, could have snuck over, but there's an assistant referee on this side. There was a ball kid behind the goal, cheering already, hands up in the air. Tense moments. But incredible save from Grove, and Annabelle Martin, just desperation stuff on the goal line late in the game.
Well, we have to take the assistant referee on trust here. They are in the best position. The whole ball has to be fully over the line. The ball is a sphere. It's over. It has to be fully over. It's deceptive.
We don't have the goal.
It's close.
Yeah, it was close. It was close. It was like that. We don't have the goal line technology, right? So it was a close one, but I mean, just wonderful desperation defending from Grove and Martin. It's exactly what you need to get the 3 points in games like this. Late in the game, that was a great header first off from Allen as well. I thought that was in for sure, but what a save from Grove. Like up and back to pad it out and then get up again for the second go. Quality stuff.
Now this could be a very important season in the career of Annalete Grove because she burst onto the scene young for Adelaide United, debuting back in 2020 as a really promising youngster, but actually lost her position at Adelaide to Claudia Jenkins last time out. And since moved to the Mariners for an opportunity, but she was second choice, of course, behind Sarah Langman. But with Sarah Langman's season-ending injury, it's just allowed Grove the opportunity to play almost a full season back in goals for the Mariners. And moments like that prove there's still plenty of talent. Confirming what flashed up on your screen earlier, the yellow card from earlier that we suspected might have been for Taryn King was actually for Tess Quilligan. So Tess Quilligan, number 16 for the Mariners. She was the player who received the yellow card after that fracas.
Just clever play we just saw from Rasmussen. She had this lovely touch with the outside of her foot and was able to take it towards the corner and play it off the Newcastle Jets player there, in no rush to take this throw in. Just soaking up a few more seconds.
Here come Newcastle, urged on by their fans. There'll be a little bit more than the 5 minutes allotted stoppage time because of the stoppage for Annalete Grove. So you'd imagine the Jets will have 4 or 5 minutes from now to get this equaliser and more. They'll back themselves to get more. They've played well today, the Jets. Melina Reyes, we know what she can do. Plays a death ball in behind for Alexis Collins. Her shot blocked. And cleared away for a Jets throw. They won't stop here. Pryor. Hoban. Back to Pryor, a leader in this team. But it comes away. Millie Farrow takes a tumble and earns her side a foul. Clever play from the Englishwoman.
She did well. She was driving forward, drew the foul. Head up, touch pass, a little bit of contact. Again, more seconds. Mariners in no rush to get this ball back in play.
I would say she jumped straight into Emma Dundas's knee there.
Yeah, she definitely encouraged the contact, but she did well going forward. Dundas had her leg left out. There was contact there. I think that was a fair call from Beck Mackey.
Oh, for all that she did well to earn the foul, the Mariners have just given the ball straight back. So the Jets, another opportunity to attack, but Kajula's done well. Tamar Levin. She's left-footed, Tamar Levin, so she will need to double back if she can. Melina Ayres dropping very deep there to win the ball back, launching it forward. Taryn King. Oh, a narrow back pass for Grove. Grove had to be good and was, because Alexis Collins was lurking. Not long left for the Jets. Can they get this equalizer here? Snap this 3-game losing streak. They don't want to lose a 4th against their biggest rivals. Josie Allen turning, twisting, trying to find options. She's tracked really well by Tamar Levin. Now the long throw into the penalty area. Hoban back out. That's nice play to Page. Olivia Page for the Jets. A shot from distance, not enough on it. Grove can get in behind, dive on the ball and soak up an extra couple of seconds. Would have been a rather spectacular way for the 20-year-old Page to score her first Ninja A-League goal. Launched long by Grove. Fuller was trying to find the corner and Rasmussen, but instead the ball trickles out of play. All 5 allotted minutes of stoppage time done, but remember, we did have that stoppage for Grove. We are all on the generosity of referee Beck Mackey here. Crowd urging Newcastle forward. There's a nice touch from Collins, but instead it might break kindly here for Allen. Heavy first touch from Lauren Allen. Looked for a moment as if the opening was perfect there for the experienced attacker. Couldn't control the ball. Could hear the voice of 4th official Michaela Ryan there saying 1 extra minute.
Newcastle have to throw all their players forward here. They've still been trying to keep possession, put some passes together. I think they need players in the box. I think they need to get it in.
Now or never for the Jets. Collins trying to find a way to get a ball in. Allen, Lauren Allen. Can't get past Fuller. Everyone back to defend for the Mariners. A high ball, Grove. Safely underneath it. Safe hands from Annalie Grove. As the seconds tick away. This ball will be as long as she can. The Mariners will attempt to run for the hills. And that will help them. A throw in deep in the Jets half, but they won't have to take it because the Central Coast Mariners have done the double over the Newcastle Jets in the F3 Derby this season. They came from behind once again to emerge 2-1 victors. The Jets had the better of the opportunities, particularly in the first half. They did capitalise in the end through Kelly Brown, but it wasn't enough. The Mariners in the second half. Peter Trimmis and then Annalise Rasmussen's 8th goal of the season means that at full time it is the Newcastle Jets 1, Central Coast Mariners 2. So here are the highlights of what was an exhilarating contest in this F3 derby. It was the Newcastle Jets in front of their home fans who had the better of running in the first half.
And it was pretty even possession-wise and quality-wise, but I think